Hello, today I'm talking about a super, ultra, hyper, mega, meta, interesting aspect of harmony called stacking triads, which, thinking about it, actually led me to stumble across the key to unlocking the ancient tuning system of the Pythagorean philosopher and friend of Plato's, Archytas of Tarentum. It all started one day while watching some popular videos on YouTube and about Jacob Collier's beef with George Russell over the ultra, super, hyper, mega, meta Lydian. Links in the description. The best place to start thinking about this is with the chord C major 13 sharp 11. This chord has two strange properties. First, it's made by stacking major triads, and second, it's also a stretch out version of the Lydian mode. Basically, if you repeat the intervals major third, minor third, major third, minor third, and then you octave reduce all the notes on the higher part, you will get the Lydian scale. But what would this sound like in just intonation? Let's start simple with Pythagorean tuning. This tuning works by stacking fifths in the circle of fifths, but the circle of fifths is actually a spiral ever moving outward. While it uses a fairly sharp major third, its fifths are so pure that it still has a very consonant sound. To make it fit into a 12-tone scale, we have to smash the last fifth, the G sharp, down to E flat. The Pythagorean major third is a lot muddier than the just major third of 5-4. If I play a just major third, you are also hearing the perfect fifth above each. So there does end up being something almost natural in this Lydian chromatic concept, since, at least on a piano or on strings, when you play a major third, you're going to actually have a Lydian major 7 chord built on it. So when we hear any major third, we're actually hearing very lightly within the overtones this major 7 chord. I was really not expecting the Lydian chromatic concept or the major 7 chord to have any sort of natural basis or any fundamental role to play within harmonics, and this really surprised me. So it really feels to me like there's a lot of potential here to use this Lydian chromatic concept in just intonation, and I really hope that this will help inspire some people to start writing in that way. It got me thinking about another aspect of just intonation related to ancient Greek harmonics and musicology. What if instead of stacking major third triads, we stacked septimal fourth triads? This is based on Archytas' pyramid, which helps us visualize the relation between intervals in the harmonic series. Oh my god, I love Archytas' pyramid so much. It is so helpful for thinking about how intervals are formed out of smaller intervals. Our Lydian chromatic stacked major sevens were based on the 3-2, the fifth, which is divided into major and minor thirds by an arithmetic and a harmonic mean. If we go in the opposite direction and break down the 4/3, we will get arithmetic mean of 7/6 and a harmonic mean of 8/7. And this is what we are going to use to make a new scale. When stacking fourths, we're obviously going to fit way more of them than fifths into an octave. So as we can see here, the drift from the octave is much more pronounced, and we still have this really nice paralleling between the note of the 7/6 with its fourth above it. But overall, this creates a much more shimmery and shivering sound. I actually like this sound quite a bit, and it's used in the just intonation system of Ptolemy of Alexandria as well as Archytas of Tarentum. What I found after making this scale is that if you octave reduce some of these higher intervals, you end up creating Archytas' soft diatonic. And his scale is kind of a mixture of Pythagorean tuning, so that's what we're getting through the stacking of the fourths, and the incorporation of 7 limit intervals like the 7/6, but it doesn't use exactly the 7/6 in the bottom tetrachord. Instead, it uses the 32/27 Pythagorean minor third, but it does use this septimal minor sixth of 14/9, which is created by going up a 7/6 interval above the fourth. So while I think it's really interesting to try these stacked methods of scale creation, such as the Lydian Chromatic Concept, I think that there's also a lot we can do using more of the harmonic series and using different overtones, such that we can create really beautiful sounds like in Archytas' soft diatonic. And I'm going to end now just by sharing a little piece of music that I wrote with a friend of mine, Jonathan Kay. We recorded this back in February of 2023, and it was one of our first pieces we worked on together in ancient Greek tunings. So here is Archytas' soft diatonic for piano and saxophone.